Welcome back, and now tune into the other side. The other side of sports is your host, Laws in the building. It's me, it's Ern. We here rocking out. You already know. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Ern, they tricked me. They told me Ben Johnson was the only guy that was gonna be here, and now
They had you all worked up for nothing, dog.
we looking at Mike Vrabel and Dan Quinn. Terrible. Hey, bro, I'm gonna just keep it all the way a buck. If they bring in a Dan Quinn, I'm out forever. I'm gonna join Tuck in the Jets. I'm gonna just shake the dice on all 32 teams, 31 teams, and figure out my new destination. Something's got to change. No way. I don't care what you say. He's been better than Ron and all of it. No, the Bama is trash.
First of all, Ron is a low bar. Anybody is better than Ron. You can have no coach on the team and be better off than what they were last year.
There you go. I
Did you want Ben Johnson after that choke that was on coaching that coaching choke performance you saw in Detroit last week?
so I don't know. So this is the thing, right? That we can just talk about the game. The decisions to go for them jumps on fourth downs was terrible decisions. We're just gonna keep it all the way 100. Now, the way it seemed from the post game, like those were Dan Campbell's decisions, right? The plays themselves on the fourth
Trash.
downs, I didn't think that they were the best plays you could get into to convert the fourth downs.
Dog,
You
the
know,
third and four where you have Amon Ross St. Brown in the backfield, when you have Gibbs and Montgomery on the team, and you hand the ball off to Amon Ross St. Brown on third and four to run a dive play. That was terrible, dog. That was terrible. And you
yeah,
can't tell me Dan Campbell called that. That
nah,
was terrible.
yeah, it was a bad play call. I thought the one jump that whatchamacallit, Reynolds dropped, I thought that was a catchable ball. He should have
Yeah,
made
for
the
sure.
catch. You know, that's how it goes. Like you play in the NFL, every play not gonna go your way and stuff like that. I think just from the standpoint of like you being over aggressive. If it's a thing to be over aggressive, like I just these games are too big and you choked it away. I mean,
For,
Gibbs fumble, like you had some things that
yeah.
just happens in the course of a football game that puts you, in a bad spot, and for whatever reason. But like the Detroit Lions had that game in hand, had it sewn up.
Ron Rivera would that lead would have won the game. And Scott Turner could have beat OC. Though it's so hard to lose that game after the command that they had over that game. It's
So
just
is that a knock on Aaron Glenn? They saying Aaron Glenn. They went to Detroit. The interview Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I guess that was the consolation prize of interviews. And then Ben Johnson told the Bama's and Redskins won. I can't do it, champ. I think I'm gonna stay here another
beta.
game.
Beta.
What does it mean, Aaron?
First of all, I didn't want nothing out of Detroit after watching everybody choke. Like you could see how all of the beta started coming out because with the moment got big, everybody choked, including golf. You throw in the Reynolds, your third and fourth string receivers in those situations, that's not his time. He dropped it, it's not his time. Like you supposed to be going to your dogs. Like you supposed to have Gibbs in the game. You supposed to be going to St. Brown. It's just you could just see everybody choking away in that moment, and that's why that team is going home and the other team is going to be playing in the Super Bowl next week. So I
Mm.
like after watching how badly that game was coached offensively from the head coaching position,
You was just like,
I
yuck.
you can't. To me, I couldn't see how you could stomach that press conference strutting them Bama's out there after that.
Mm. Yeah, it was bad. It was I just can't even like. Yeah, I wasn't already like a high Ben Johnson. I think the dude is a good coordinator. I think he has some talent and stuff like that. But I wasn't over the moon like fan base here. No, they told us that was the offense. That's who the coach was going to be in the team, Aaron.
We've been telling them for 11 years that the local
This
radio
area,
is they're liars. They are blatant liars. They pretended to have connections that they don't have. See, this is the thing. Like
all their connections are fired, Aaron. They don't work here no more.
the national media poaches a lot of the talent from this area. So you had a lot of guys like when you look national, like people that cover national sports, a lot of them were local beat guys and local people from this area that covered the team. The guys that are still here are trash because they would have been poached if they were any good. So you got Danny and what's the other little fat
Grant.
Grant and all these like they try to act like they so connected and they don't know what's going on. They're not that good, and that's why they're still doing radio in 2024. So they're not that good, and they just make stuff up and try to act like they're more connected than what they are, like they're more important than what they are, like they know more about what's going on than what they actually do. And they're trash. And I said from the jump though, like this fake love affair, like it was a done deal, like you was getting Andy Reid or you was getting some lock candidate that was like the joint just didn't make sense to me. And that's why I was like so flabbergasted when Bama's was swallowing the joint so hard, pause. I'm like, dog, what it like y'all don't even know who Ben Johnson was 2 years ago. So why all of a sudden is this dude like football Jesus? It never made sense. But it's who
Mm.
they had the fantasy for, and they tried to drum it up, and they would tell them blatant lies like it was a done deal, talking about the connections they had and this, and that, and it was a flat out lie. It was a flat out lie. It was so bad of a lie, and I never see Adam Schefter come out and
I
had to
never
like
see Adam, but Adam was
put
like, "Hey,
water on the fire. Like
y'all
what's
need to
going on?
pump the brakes.
Yeah,
Like this ain't
it was that big of a lie that the national guy who breaks all of the football news was like, I don't know what y'all talk about. This ain't what you think
this
it
ain't
is.
no lock.
And then a
This ain't
day
no
later,
lock."
less than 24 hours later, the Bama like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Could it just be here so he's going back to Detroit, probably gonna get a little pay raise, probably just gonna sit in the pocket. You got all the weapons at your disposal, ain't really nothing crazy happening. Maybe that's the job that he covers. Like he just don't want to uproot his situation. Word on the
That's
street is
beta.
he was asking for 15 mil to try like basically weed himself out by just asking more than everybody else. For the job. Uh, I don't know what I believe about that stuff. I just to me, right? If you're gonna take over this job, like it's a lot of things that are perks for taking over this Washington Commanders job, right? You got the number
Two pick.
second overall pick in the NFL draft, right? That's
Take the
beautiful.
quarterback you want.
You can get the guy you want, right? Even if you want to move up, you got the capital and stuff to move up. You got cap space and the ability to basically help, you know, manage the roster. Um, I yeah, you got the post dance situation where but dog, this is a beautiful city to live in. If you got money and you live here, Aaron, it's
Amazing.
only a
It's
few
better than
places in the.
Detroit.
It's
For
only
with
that's
a
a
hundred
fact.
percent certainty.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Maybe
You got to keep
LA,
a. Uh
maybe
huh.
Florida. People like Texas. That's personal choice.
Uh huh.
But but you gonna run out of cities to be in if you got
Yeah,
bread.
man.
And
Yeah,
Detroit ain't
Phoenix.
on
I
that
like
list.
Phoenix a lot. Yeah, yeah. Detroit ain't on that list, dog. It's cold. It's yeah. It's not like here. I mean, it get cold here too, but it's just a whole different vibe. Now, granted, it is a lot of pressure to produce, and
You think it's more
it's
pressure here to produce than what in Detroit where they ain't been to a Super Bowl?
most definitely there's more pressure here to
That's fake.
produce.
That's fake though.
You don't think
Y'all
Detroit
y'all are
Detroit,
the
Detroit ain't got to do nothing, dog. These Bama's can beat Detroit, and people will just put a
y'all
brown
been
paper
losing
bag
for
on their
30
head and just,
years.
yeah. But what I'm saying is like this fan base is they trying to make up a winner, dog. They trying to
That's how
make up
garbage
anything
it
that
is. This is
yeah,
not
it is
real.
bad.
This is not a real sports town anymore. Like the Bama's that's 30 years old. They've never seen this team win.
Mhm.
how old is Ben Johnson? He might be 30 something years old. Like stop, dog. This team is like what's a garbage. They like the Charlotte Hornets today. Like stop. Like Bama's got to stop pretending like this is something it's not. Like you got the number 2 pick, that's great. You got
Uh-huh.
70 something mil in cap space, that's great. This ain't no like we gonna stop pretending like this joint is the Lakers or stop. We gotta stop that.
It's not that. It's not that.
You
But it's just
dinosaurs
sports
gotta
town.
stop.
People want to see the team do good, dog. The
That's in
team
every
being
city,
good,
but it's no
but it's
real
good for
pressure to
business.
win. Everybody's lost
Yeah,
it.
you're right. You're right. There's
They
no
get
pressure
rich
to
and
win.
they roll
You're
out. It's
right.
no
You're
real
right.
pressure to
It,
win.
it ain't no real.
It's
It
no
ain't no real
slander.
pressure. Because if there was real pressure to win, then Bama's would have
Then
won
Bama's
already.
will exactly.
It's because in reality is if you get slandered enough, only two things happen, dog. If you get joned on and picked on enough, and Bama slander you enough, you either become a square Bama inside the house with the goggles on video games trying to blow up the world, or you turn into a multi-million dollar
Contract killer.
success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
You still trying to
it's
blow
only
up the world.
it's only two ways you gonna go. Dog, Bama slander you into getting youngins and you finally figure it out, or you just be the fat Bama eating Cheetos in the house,
In the basement.
staring at the TV, looking at IG all day. Like it's just the only two options, though. So clearly, if there was pressure on this franchise to win, then Bama's would have
They would have won
looked
already.
like we went the wrong way, bro.
You don't leave Ron Rivera in for that last year that just passed if it's pressure to win. You
Yeah,
don't
that's a
trot
fact.
Sam Howell out there like if there's pressure to win.
That's a
You can't
fact.
trot Sam Howell out in Dallas. You can't trot Sam Howell out. You know what I mean? It's just certain places
You,
it's not gonna
you're
fly.
right. You're right.
There's no
You're
real
right.
pressure to win here.
So who's the guy? Who's the guy that they make happen and just pull the trigger on and get in here? Is it Mike McDonald? Dog, every
It
time I hear
sound
Mike McDonald, I just get a little more learier and I ain't even a word. I just leery because I don't like that connection that Greg Roman, like that's a potential
now if they
person
get
that can come in
Daniels,
and be the OC.
if they get Daniels, it could make some sense.
Mhm.
And that would be better than them getting Drake May and a better coach to me. Because coaching is irrelevant really in the league. So I would rather see that happen than end up with Drake May and Dan Quinn or whoever y'all think the next white
I
guy
can
up is going to be.
I can say this looking and you can't put a whole bunch of stock into like looks and demeanor and like just how people kind of carry themselves, but I do. Mike Donald, the Bama's young, but he looked like he act old. Like he seemed like he's like John Harbaugh. Like he might be related to him the way he like kind of carry himself. Um I wouldn't be totally against it, dog. I wouldn't be totally against it. But where my
You don't
man
have a
at be
choice at this
enemy
point.
though? Where
That's
be
what
enemy
that's
at,
what I was about
dog?
to say. If
He
they
need to
get
be the
stuck,
top front runner now.
right? If they get stuck into having to hire him, that fan base is going to be so upset, and I'm going to
Oh,
troll and troll and troll. Because remember when they thought they had their guy, they was talking about how good the interview was and this, and that. Now they got their hands behind their back. But the Harris group to me seems hell bent on their first coach being some retread regular, you
we
know what.
can't we can't do that, dog. We
It's gonna
can't.
be Quinn or Vrabel or somebody like that. I don't because I would have thought the Aaron Glenn situation would have got hyped more once they announced that Ben Johnson was bowing out because they was all sites like they throw these certain names in to make it seem like they're having a open ended search. But to me, Harris just strikes me as he already got his mind made up on what he wanted, and since they took his favorite toy, he probably got already number two on his list who he kind
Mhm.
of favors as wanting to be the face of the team.
You think that's Mike McDonald?
I don't know who that is. I know it's some
Okay.
white guy.
I just don't know, bro. I don't know. Will we hear that coach? Will the coach get announced this week? This
hundred
is the
percent.
week.
By Friday, what's today? Wednesday.
Mhm.
Today Tuesday. By
Today's
Friday, they're
Tuesday.
going to announce the coach. You might
Okay.
even have a press conference Friday. I say by Wednesday, Thursday, and you might get a press conference Friday.
Okay. Okay, dog. I guess we just gotta wait and
You're not
see.
going to like it, but you're going to have to deal with it.
I listen. If they go far left, I'm out. I don't care. I don't care what happens.
It gotta be somebody
I,
under 50. That's a
that's
requirement.
that's
They
that's
gotta
a
be under
yeah.
50
That's
years old.
okay.
No dinosaurs. We done with that era. Let it go. Let it be.
Uh-huh. Gotta be young and fresh, new. Uh-huh.
I don't even want to retread for real. Like
I
I would
don't want
take
to reach.
Belichick over Quinn and Vrabel. Like
Mhm.
I don't want no dinosaur, but if you going dinosaur route or retread route, at least
Let's
go
get it.
no.
Yeah, let's yeah.
It's a Bama that you know.
Yeah, Bobby who cheat. He cheat through
Right.
his sleep. Get him.
Just
You
don't
gonna
let him
get.
help you pick the quarterback. Just keep him out of that conversation. Other than that, you get him a quarterback, he good to go.
Oh
So
man, dog, that jump was sicking me. That would make me sick too, dog. All of them retread back just would make me
dog,
sick,
but yet
bro.
just go ahead and make enemy the guy.
He to me, he got the best You you
The
you
best resume.
told me Ben Johnson was the guy because this Bama helped turn that organization around. Dog, the enemy's resume better. Bama's his resume is better.
And you had him out there coaching Sam garbage ass Howell for a year. That Bama thought was going to be the next thing until they had to admit that he wasn't. And so I say bring Jacoby back, and then you draft a quarterback at 2. Like they're gonna draft who they're gonna draft. At this point, we just gotta wait and see who that's
We
gonna
just
be.
gotta wait and see, dog.
But yeah,
Whoever they draft, we're gonna figure out if it's football or not. So that's a big thing, depending on who they bring in. I mean, it's just so many unknowns at this point. I
and they
just
interviewed Quinn twice. That's the problem. Like
mhm.
they had to me, he seems like he's their guy.
Dog, I'm gonna Kirk.
And
It's gonna
what
be bad. I don't.
it's
I go off the deep end a lot. But if they do that, I'm spazzing, bro.
what's gonna bother me is that he's not terrible. Like he's a good coach, but it's very, very conservative, scary hire. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you win the Super
It's
Bowl with that
safe.
guy.
It's
Yeah,
safe.
it's Nova safe. It's like one of those kind of situations. But it still leans dinosaur to me. So I don't want no retread. Get somebody new, somebody that you interview and you like, okay, this Bama, like where y'all got a shared vision. Like, stop going back. It just seems like they just want to be safe, like you saying. Like pick a safe guy where it's not going to be terrible. It's nobody that never coached before. It's just safe.
To me, the enemy is the safest jump. You know what you're getting. You kind of have a sample size you can go from. Like he didn't have all the control. Like to me, that's the safest jump. Like at least you know he can coach a football team. Like you know what I'm saying, and do certain things you need to happen. Though Dan Quinn comes in this jump, he's basically Ron Rivera 2.0. He gonna do
No,
probably had
no,
a defense playing a little bit better, and then eventually it just old age gonna catch up to him.
I think he's way more competent than Ron Rivera. I won't, I won't
Okay.
go that far. Ron Rivera is the worst coach. Dan Campbell might be number one now. But at least you see Dan Campbell has some strengths. Like he might not
Okay.
be an X's and O's, clock management, like know what's going on the field type guy. But at
Mhm,
least you can see the team like follows him and shows up for the game with him as the head coach. Like what they've been
mhm.
able to accomplish, like Ron wouldn't be able to get that done in Detroit.
But they losers too, dog. I can't.
I think he made some terrible, terrible, terrible coaching decisions in that game. And there's consequences for the decisions you make. And so I don't know that he makes that decisions again, like directly, but sometimes I think he knows the quarterback is a beta. I think he
Mhm,
knows he got a lot of betas on that squad they're playing above their head. And so I think he does these things sometimes to try to like, when you playing with a bunch of sorry, weak type Bama's, you try to get their heads like shoot whatever you want. Like you got the green light. Like trying to give them confidence with his coaching decisions. Like show them that
Mhm.
I believe in you. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you're as
yeah.
good as everybody else when you know
Yeah,
if you had Patrick Mahomes, you're not making those decisions. You taking a field goal, you going down the field. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's just certain
Mm.
certain things people do when you playing with sorry Bamas where you feel like you gotta knock Bamas out versus going through the entire
I thought the Dallas Cowboys defense was all world though. I thought they had. talent all up and down that roster, dog. To get mud hold in that game like that
Now that was
by
a terrible
visiting
game
opponent.
plan. It was a terrible game plan that
Mhm,
they had.
mhm,
Terrible against Green Bay. And
mhm,
I think that's what muddies up his candidacy because everybody was
mhm,
talking like, oh, he guaranteed to be out.
mhm.
And when you get to these big stages and have these terrible performances, the guys that were trying to like fantasize about bringing you to their team, it kind of messes that up because
Mhm.
the media's going to ask certain questions and it's almost a sour taste in your mouth when you bring these guys in. Because when it
Yeah.
doesn't work, it's like Bama was just choking away this big moment, and then you bring them in, what you expect to happen on your squad
With less talent.
with less talent.
I don't know. Speaking of choking away, the Ravens lost to the Pat Mahomes, who is the greatest quarterback of all
Of
time,
all
dog.
time.
I don't know
Let's
what
stop playing.
Andrew was
Yeah,
talking about, like trying to downplay him and Brady. Like, no, stop it. Pat Mahomes is the best ever
ever throw a football.
right now.
Conversation over.
It's over. Uh, somebody asked me today. They said, "Harold, you a football guy. You watch. You went to it heavy. I just had one question for you. How much of the blame do you put on Lamar Jackson for the loss by the Ravens?"
What
And
color
then
was
he
the
sat
person
back
that
like
asked you?
this.
That's the first question.
he on the opposite side of the
You already
rainbow.
know. He was trolling you. You ain't even know.
Hey, no, you know what I said? First
Zero.
of all, he tried he
I'd have
tried to
said
give me
zero. Just roll it back.
he tried to give me numbers too. He was like, is it 40, 50, 60,
It,
70,
it's zero.
80?
That's what I would have said.
I
Just to
said
troll him.
I said, you know me, I'm so diplomatic. I said 30%. He said, not even 50? I said no. And the reason I don't give it more than 30% is because it wasn't Lamar Jackson who set up all the nights before all the practice and set up a game plan where you pass 100 times. That wasn't him. He ain't come up with that game plan to pass 100 times. Y'all
Well,
been running the ball all year long. Now y'all coming in the jump and pass 100 times. Like, dog, that's not on him. Now, I again, I didn't say he's absolved of all responsibility. Still some responsibility there. But like, dog, you didn't set the man up for success.
they
And
chose.
that to me, yeah, and to me, that's coaching. The coaching didn't set you up for success. This is your skill set. This is what you do best, right? And you come in here and do this. Like, who put that together? And Lamar ain't control. They were like, well, why didn't he could have audibled? He could have did. I'm like, yo, let you go on your job and your boss say you need to take these papers and do X,
And
Y,
you
and Z and
audible.
write them down, and then you audible against the jump, dog. Stop. You can't do that. If it don't work, if you audible and that jump don't work, who at fault? You gonna be in trouble. So you best to just go with what you being asked to do from your superiors. So people don't even do that in their own workspace. So how you gonna tell this man, oh, you should have just ran out the pocket and just did what he wanted to do? Like what? Stop it, bro. Stop it. So Ravens, I mean, the defense, they held up their end of the bargain. They played very well. The offense just didn't show. I mean, yes, I would have liked to see Lamar Jackson run the ball a lot more, utilize his legs. He just looked real nonchalant at times in the pocket instead of being very decisive. And that could be, for a lot of different reasons, right? You know what I'm saying? But credit to the Kansas City Chiefs for having a game plan. Their Bama's looked ready to play, dog. And the defense was stout. They like, the stuff, the runs, Bama's trying to get outside. No, 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 no. They was on top of everything for the most part. And they did a good job corralling Lamar Jackson and not letting him have, one of those big runs where he goes off for 60 yards and stuff. They shut all that down. So um props to the Kansas City Chiefs. What'd you think, Aaron? How much blame you give Lamar Jackson in that offense?
Well, the offense, I give 100% of the blame because
Mhm,
if you hold Kansas City to 17, you got to get a W.
mhm,
You got to get a W. And then the way they dominated other teams, better teams this year, um, you know, and when I say offense, that includes offensive coaches. It was a failure. It was just a failure. It was a terrible game plan against the Kansas City Chiefs. They were prepared for it. and they basically beat the Ravens at their own game. They out physical them, and
Mm,
they just look like tight during periods of the game. Lamar was running ginger, like he
mm,
didn't look like himself. Like I don't know if it almost because we asked like, is the Bama hurt? Why is he not being decisive and taking
mm.
off and running? And even when he was running, it was like
He was
C
in
plus legs. Like
third gear, second,
yeah,
third
it
gear.
looked
Like
like Lamar.
he wasn't
So
open it up. Yeah,
so I just thought it was a horrible game plan, and he missed a lot of throws. It just they look like this is about to become a thing, like Dak in Dallas, where it's like you got this super team. This is your year. Like you'll never have a year where it's set up more for you to go get a Super Bowl than what the Ravens had this year. They finally got them weapons. They got a new offensive coach. Like all of the issues that were brought up before, to a certain extent, were supposedly resolved, and they get to this point and choke. And it was nothing but a choke. Like they dominated better
yeah,
teams all year. It was a choke.
yeah. It was a choke. Definitely was a choke. Um, yeah. So that's that jump. Yeah, I feel for Lamar and them, but
You
yeah,
gotta
that
play
they
better.
gotcha.
You gotta play
Yeah,
better
you definitely gotta
and
play
coach
better.
better, but you gotta play better.
Yeah. So um we got the Super Bowl now. It's the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Who you going with, Aaron?
Whoever won the AFC game was gonna win the Super Bowl. It's been that way. Kyle gonna find a way to choke. He almost choked this game, but he had a worse coach on the other end that gave the game back to him. So
Uh-huh.
I don't think San Francisco has a chance.
Yeah, I think that Kansas City will end up winning the game. I think it'll be a lot closer than people anticipate. Right now, the line they did this on purpose. It's funny business going on. They got San Francisco favorite -2.5.
Of course,
So yeah, this is just to get money on both sides. But I there's no way you had me picking against Patrick Mahomes on the spread. They probably would have been better off making the Chiefs the favorite and just making a line like 3.5 in favor of the Chiefs. You might get more people on the San Francisco betting side, I think, from like a money perspective. But there's no way you can get me to
but a lot of people think San Francisco's a much better team, and technically they are. They're not as well coached as Kansas City, but there's more talent for sure on San Francisco on both sides of the ball.
Mhm.
I think the advantage is Mahomes and Reed. That's the only
Yeah.
advantage with KC
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you look at the rosters up and down, San Francisco roster
and
just
the narratives
act, yeah,
all
they
year.
have a lot. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Debo, like they got some cookers, and Brock Purdy's been solid, but I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes though. Patrick Mahomes has
That's
beat
games in a row.
quarterbacks and teams that I thought would have were better.
The Ravens are
And
better, and they washed. Well, not washed them, but they beat them
yeah,
back.
they job washed them though. I mean, they washed them in the sense of they dominated the football game
Yeah,
and
they did.
washed.
They did.
Because I mean, say what you want, the Ravens had chances to get back in the game, and they just made plays to not let that happen. I mean,
Kelsey went
Zay
off.
Flowers Zay Flowers fumbled the rock, had the taunting call. That was a big thing. Then he fumbled the rock the next couple plays. Uh, Kelsey was just big boying them Bammers and bullying him, and before the kickoff, this Bama was bullying. So it just, I mean, we gonna see. We gonna see. So, um, yeah, that's that. Dog, what's up with the NBA? Bama scoring 70 points and 80 points. No, Embiid 70, Luca 70 plus.
Ain't no defense.
Dog, no defense. This Bama was just going to the cut. It looked like pick up rec ball. You know how if I come up that Joe, the Bama just let you go to the lane. You know what I'm saying? If you make it, you make it. If you miss it, it's like because they was letting Luca do whatever. I mean, granted, he was making tough buckets and getting to the line and stuff like that. But it just, do you think it's egregious? I mean, like the way the scoring is, because KG had the commissioner on and was asking him about like how the game has changed and how you can't rough nobody up, and basically we took fighting out of the game to protect the players essentially that are skilled, that aren't like bullies or big, and he used Steph Curry as an example. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely a weaker game. Like no
Mhm.
hand checking, no, and you got MB bringing the ball up the court, dribbling, just turned it over, diving, trying to be a point guard. It's just there's no there's no real structure or like I don't feel like coaching taking place defensively or it's like you said, like rec league. Like Bama just out there doing whatever they want, trying to put on the show. It turned into like wrestling almost, where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, so and so had 70. Okay, I'm gonna try to go get 60. And you got these aren't even all time greats. That's like Cat Carl Anthony Towns getting 60. Like stop. Because before when you looked, there's Wilt Jordan, like you know what I mean. Like now you got Luca,
you got
Embiid,
you
and
got a lot of names in
Cat,
there.
Devin Booker. It's just it's like a
Will somebody get 80 this year?
not this year,
Not this year.
but somebody gonna get 80.
Uh-huh. They going to top the Kobe Jones, the 81 jump.
I mean,
You
it's
got that.
first of all, you got to have the super flashing green light, and you got to be a guard. Like,
And everybody got to get you to rock. Like it got to be like a concerted effort. Like
yeah, like what it is with Embiid. Like when
mm,
during that 70-point game, you could see where they're
it
turning
was
down
just
better
yeah.
shots just to give him the ball to give him a chance to try to score as much as he could. Ever since he had
Mm-hmm.
24 in the first quarter, so that's the reason why a lot of that stuff can take place. Same with Cat. Like they're trying to get him the points versus him just dominating over the course of the game. Um, like typically you would think it would have been with like a Jordan or a Wilt Chamberlain or in the past. Even though I never seen Alabama Wilt play, you just assume, like he's out
Yeah.
there dominating the Bamas that was working at the post office when they get off. Like it's just a different. Uh, I feel like a different vibe versus Bama's trying to run up the score
Mm-hmm.
or stat pad, I guess.
Yeah. It lies stat pattern, dog. That's where we at with it now. It's just stat pattern. Um, yeah, dog. I mean, that's it. I got a question. I can get into a question before we roll out. Uh my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years and have been having sex for over a year. Everything in our relationship and the sex is great, but he's recently decided he doesn't want to have sex before important races. He swims competitively. The problem is that we're not talking about a day or a few before the race, which I could bear, but a few weeks or more. So this would mean
Sheesh.
that we would not have sex more than once a month at most. I've read that most research denies that sex, even the night before an important event, negatively affects athletic performance. But he says from personal experience that it does affect his energy and endurance, and a lot of it is true. And he has achieved a few better results the times after not having sex with me for the month. But I just can't help not think that there had to be some other factors than this. Um, what should I do? Ah, no, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Side
though.
piece.
I you say get some side piece. Get a side piece. Yeah, dog. That joke do perfect your form, dog. Impact your form performance. Dog, every time I lay with the missus before the football jokes, they be
Duh,
out there
so this the
throwing
question:
shots into the church.
Is
Like,
this
no, you can't get out the pocket. Like, young, I'm
dog? This the question: Is this Bama?
Joe, Zach,
Is he
all
paying
year.
the bills with this racing, or is he
I don't know.
turning
Yeah,
down the
you
cheeks to
can't,
play in
you
a
can't,
rec league?
yeah, you can't be, yeah,
Is
you can't
Bama
be
putting his
turning it down
marriage
for
on skates
the.
for the rec league? Dog, that's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that, dog. Yeah, and listen, I don't know. Each his own. Bama want to be good. They still young though,
Send a picture. We
probably.
might have an answer for you. Send a picture to the comment. We might got the perfect solution for you.
Oh, oh man. Follow us at OSS 980 Other Side of Sports. Please share the show, share the content. We try to take over the internet. It's here. We better than the radio. That's our new slogan. We better than the radio. So rock with us. Shout out to Sports Talk Tasha. Shout out to Lance J Radio. Shout out to Kicking It with G Man. Everybody who rock with us heavy. And we out.
Darling